Hi FlossTube, it's Julie. I am SylverStitches. I did change my name. Sorry if my cat moves the table I'm stitching from. Anyway, yeah, I'm Julie. I'm SylverStitches, and I am living in Carleton Place, Ontario. So it's a little town near Ottawa. And here we go. So, I did change my name on the channel. I'm no longer Silver Comet. I figured out how to change the name, so now my name is SylverStitches, and that name is everywhere else. So it's on Instagram, and if I ever decide to want to open my own business, I'd sell under the name SylverStitches. The name, I used to be, back in the day when everybody was, chatting on MSN and all of those things, my name was Rain, spelt with a Y, and then it changed into Raining Comet, and then it, Silver Comet, and then since I stitch now, it's turned into SylverStitches. So, yeah, that's how that name came to be. So that's, that name has developed over the last, I'd say about 15 years. So how I got it to where it is now. I'd like to show you a couple pieces that I found in my house. Pieces that were tucked away, that I'm currently working on, but I had put away. In my apartment, we recently moved rooms, so, like, bedrooms. So where we are now is a little bit different, of course. So in transition, we have not found yet, the pattern of this piece, but I really hope I find it, because otherwise it will be very sad. It is Lizzie Kate's Prayer of St. Francis. So, this is how much I have done of it so far. I don't know. Let's do that. I saw this piece stitched not too long ago, and somebody in one of my groups had gotten a little bit more of the line of the O Divine Master, that line, had completed it and had done a little bit more. So I'm going to try, if I ever find the pattern again, to have a race with her to see who can finish it. I love stitching Lizzie Kate's. They seem to be really, I wouldn't say easy, because there is a lot of counting because of all the lettering, but a really fast stitch compared to other designers. But it's really rewarding because it is such a quick stitch that I really like them. So that's one of the pieces that I had found in the last time since I've talked to you. Another piece that I found was another Lizzie Kate. This one is Be Who You Are. Again, I've gotten a little bit of progress on that one. So this is what it looks like. And then I realized that my videos on my phone, at least, can only last for 33 minutes. So hopefully I have not too much stuff to talk about and not have to do a part 2, because that's frustrating. So I've only just, I might have worked a couple hours on this, so this is where I am for that one. I decided I wanted to stitch the B first, and then the lines that go across, and then this is how tall it's going to be. So next I'm going to move over to the next part. Again, really like it, really like stitching Lizzie Kate. Very sad that she's not releasing anymore, but I do understand that people need to retire. So I have not quite a few, maybe like 3 or 4 more Lizzie Kates somewhere out there in my house that I need to find and finish, because that would just be great, right? To be able to post inspirational things all around your house, right? Because right. The progress that I had done this week, I made a lot of progress comparative to what I do a lot of progress on. A lot of progress on the, that's upside down, but a lot of progress on the spring mini banner. So the progress that I had shown you before. So this is the spring mini banner, right? So the progress that I had done before was just the blue and the green. Now I've stitched all of this, the flower that's here, all of this. It's part of the birdhouse's roof, and then this leaf down here. I like the variegation in the middle of the flower because it is a blended thread, and at least in the fall kit, there were no blended threads in the fall kit. So I'm glad to see that the designer had jumped a little bit and thrown that out there, because even though sometimes blended threads are a pain in the butt to work with, I don't know, I like them. Now I'm not going to do them in every pattern because it does go a little bit slower, of course, but yeah, no, I really like them. So I did end up finding, it's in the pile. I can't remember if I showed you last time. Probably not, because this is still in the pile. Start again. I've already filmed this once, and then it cut me off, and then I kept going in a second video. I didn't want to do either of them, so that's where we are now. So I don't know if I've shown this to you before, but I did find the summer banner. So this is what it's eventually going to look like. And then this is how much I've done. I haven't gotten the chance to work on it yet, but this is where I am. Sorry if you hear Family Guy in the background. I don't know if you can, but yeah, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Another thing that I started this week was Maria Diaz's Halloween sampler. Halloween sampler. What I decided to do was, because I am such a procrastinator or a jumper not a procrastinator, I just like to stitch a lot of different things. So I'm focusing right now on this one owl, this one square. I'm not going to outline the whole border just in case I don't get to it. So I'm just going to work square by because the pattern is broken up into different areas, right? So I'm going to start with that full coverage part. If I don't get through that, then I'm just going to say, okay, not for me. But I really hope I do, because I really like it. So, that being said, I did not even get the whole border finished. It goes like this, yes. This is where I am. It's just on a 14 count oatmeal Aida. So it is a little bit of a variation of what I'm used to stitching on, but yeah, I just almost got the border of that filled out. As for the wheel, I spin every morning. I'm really drawn to want to work on this right now. The Halloween sampler by Maria Diaz. And I really want to work on the fall the banners. So everything else that I spin is like, yeah, I guess I could work on that. I do understand that, everything needs to get finished, but at the same point, I'm like, stitch what you love, right? So I was supposed to spin, well, I spun this morning, and I came up with Mirabilia's Savannah's Curtsy. I maybe put 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches into it today, and I was like, I'm done. I don't want to, nope. I had a plan a couple of months ago, no, not months, weeks ago, that if I stitch, I don't know what it was, something ridiculous, like, not, okay, ridiculous for me, like 200 stitches a day, then I'll be able to finish it a week before Christmas for my mom. That's not happening. That's not happening. Anyway, part of me thinks that it's because I'm not used to working on 32 count, even though it's over 2. I'm still not used to working over 16 count. So, I'm not used to working over 32 count. I'm not used to working on linen. I've thought many times about just kiboshing the whole thing, even though I'm like super far ahead, and switching it over to a 16 count Aida even, because it's not a full coverage, but it's full coverage enough that I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine if it switches over to Aida. I know sometimes it's not going to look as like museum-esque. Whatever, right? Whatever, it's my project. I found a tag that I might want to talk about. Might being possibly yes. I tried to film it I'm looking for a book. I tried to film it last week, and this was the second part of the video. So, the first, I think it's like Confessions of a Cross Stitcher? No, I don't know. Anyway, so just cross stitches or specialty stitches too. I really think it depends on the piece. I'm all about learning new stitches. Is it easier for just full cross stitches? Yeah, but that takes maybe the look out of the piece. So, the next question is whole, half, or quarter stitches. Half stitches go faster. Whole stitches have more full coverage. Quarter stitches are just frustrating, especially since I work on Aida. But if you have a sharp enough needle, of course, then anything is possible. But again, as long as it suits the design of the pattern, then I'm game for it. Whatever works, right? I've stitched them all, so either way. Next question is French knots or beads. In the past, I've done neither. I have a whole lot of mill hills that I don't know. I haven't gotten to the beading part of it yet. That slightly terrifies me. But to replace French knots with the beads, I don't know which is worse. I recently learned how to do French knots to the best of my ability. So I think I'm just going to stitch with the French knots because it seems to be working out. Sometimes the French knots are a little bit wonky, but that's okay. That just adds character to the piece, right? Backstitch, nemesis or friend? I did a piece, I don't know if I told you, I did a piece a couple years ago, or 8 years ago now, for one of my nephews, and I didn't outline any of the animals in the birth announcement. It looked fine. My fall banner owl, which I have to pull out again because I keep talking about it and it's in a couple of videos ago. Anyway, it looks fine too. Like I'm sure it would make the whole piece pop, but then again, I'm stitching an Ursula Michaels, I think, which is one of it's the winter frosty snow day, so it's just a whole lot of words, right, that are all backstitched. So that's that. I'm not pro backstitch, like to outline a piece. No, I'm not really game for it. But if it's just to do the wording or the font, then go right ahead. I think maybe that's because I get lost. Like, I'm a very, follow the pattern stitcher. So if I can't figure out where in this big mass of same color that I need to go, then it just is no. Washed or unwashed. I've never had to wash a piece before because I'm always very careful with what I do. I know oil gets on your hands. I don't know. I don't find it horrible. Maybe it's more of a working with a linen or even weave kind of idea, but with the Aida, I'm absolutely seeming to be fine. There is a piece here somewhere. Somewhere. There, it's almost right beside me. Really, like, where did it go? Anyway, the indelible spots will have to be washed. And I was going to show you it for something else I was going to talk about. But, oh, mine, it's right there. It's right on top of the Halloween sampler. Oh my goodness. So the indelible spots, my first project ever, did get a little kiboshed. It is a little dirty. I don't know if you can see that. Next to, on the right hand side, so over here, of the bucket. But that's okay. That piece of fabric has been through a whole lot of turmoil. So it's also 20 years old. So that's not so bad, right? But normally I tend to not wash. Iron, or what is an iron? I usually go for the what is an iron because most pieces I don't end up giving away. And most pieces I also don't get framed. They just sit in a box or in a container somewhere. When I do iron, it doesn't, maybe I'm just not the greatest ironer, but it doesn't seem to bring anything to the piece when I iron the piece. So pro-framed or do-it-yourself, everything that I have done, that I have framed, I framed by myself. That saying that I wouldn't necessarily not go to a framer, but currently right now the money situation isn't great. So at the same point, you know, like, stitch what you have, frame what you can. That's pretty much my life right now. Because to acquire more stash, to be able to get more stash is not really a possibility right now. So that's okay. I'm okay with that because I have 66 potential things on the go, right? So I got a lot of stuff to do. Framed FFO or other. I've never tried an other FFO. I've only ever done framing. Like, even the banners have a little hook, like a little hanging hook thing that I can attach to the banner itself. I don't know if I'm going to do that for the fall, winter, spring, summer mini banners. Partially because I don't know where two of the hooks are, but I'm sure I can go to Michael's or Walmart or somewhere and just get the hooks, because they're supposed to... Why am I losing everything? They're supposed to be... Sorry. They're supposed to be like this. And you're supposed to just sew in two... Can you see that? You're supposed to just sew in two little pieces of floss, 2 threads, into your piece, and just it should be able to hang with a backing on it. But I don't know how to do that. Well, I'm sure I know how to hang, but to finish something from the back, no. That's not me. Stickler for the pattern or creative muse. If it's something that's symmetrical, like the enchanted dragonfly from Doreen Jones, then yes, it needs to be spot on because it is symmetrical. But something like if you're doing clouds in the sky, like Beacon at Rocky Point, or by Dimensions, Gold Collections Petite, or something like, I don't know, something miscellaneous like the bottom of that Savannah skirt, where the pattern is okay, but it's not necessarily like whatever. you know, like nobody except for me or whoever I tell is gonna know about it, right? So at the same point, it doesn't really affect me. Organized or chaotic or chaos stitches. I took that as being, you know, do I have a plan? If I have a plan, what is the plan? If I don't have a plan, is it take where your needle takes me, essentially. That as well. So I have both. So something like the spring banner. The spring banner I tried to do a little bit differently. I wanted to do it in the 4 quadrants of the pattern. So right now I'm stitching where the middle of the top meets the middle of the side. So I'll stitch this quadrant first, and then I'll move over maybe to this quadrant, and then do the bottom 2 quadrants. But then something like, where'd it go? Oh, yeah. The summer banner, I've just jumped right in and done the whole thing. And that's kind of how I did the fall banner as well. So maybe there is organization because I did do the whole around first, like the whole border first, and then started filling in the middle. But I don't usually now, saying that, I usually let the needle take me where it wants to go when I have that idea in place. I'm definitely not a Parker, so I'm definitely not a stitch by row stitcher. I'm definitely not not an organized stitcher like that. No, can't do the parking, can't do the only go to a certain point on the page and then stop, even though that's what this kind of is. But as you can see, it's not full coverage. It's just because all of this part in here, these are white flowers, but all the background isn't stitched in this one. So there is no going to a certain point and stopping. I'm just drawing an imaginary line. Planned or spontaneous. Is that not like organized or chaos? To pick up a piece and buy? Or is that... Yeah, see, I don't... Planned or spontaneous. So what I stitch on each day, I guess it's a planned organizational system, like a planned chaotic system, only because I plan to spin the wheel, but who knows what it's going to be, right? So that's where I won't know until I try, right? Process or product. It is definitely a process because I have very few products. So it's definitely a lot of process. I love stitching. I don't necessarily need a product to fulfill my need or inner want to continue. Impulse or thoughtful stitches. No, not stitches. Impulse or thoughtful purchases. So when I go to my LNS, I definitely fill up the cart, like my little basket, with pieces or patterns or floss or whatever it is, you know, gadgets or whatever that I need, that I want. And then usually I only walk out of the store with either the pattern itself, the floss, and the fabric, or nothing. Like, it's usually only one pattern, 1 or 2 patterns that use. Sometimes when I pick up the Lizzie Kates, it's usually 2 patterns with the same color palette, because for the most of the Lizzie Kates, like these 2 especially, like the Be Who You Are and the St. Francis pair, they use a lot of the same colors. So it was easy to pick up 2 patterns and only buy 1 set of flosses for it. Do I frog? That's kind of the same as following the pattern. If it is something like symmetrical, like I'm saying, like the enchanted dragonfly, when if it needs to be symmetrical, if it needs to be on point, then yes. If it's a blaringly obvious mistake, then yes. But like if you're stitching the clouds, like I keep going back to in the Rocky Mountain, no, not Rocky Mountain, in the Rocky Point then they're clouds. Who knows what they're supposed to look like, right? Only you and the designer. So, do you show your work? Do I show my work? What do I hang it in my house? Not necessarily. Even though James would like me to, I'm sure. That would mean that I need to finish something. But do I show my work to my parents, to my family? Sometimes. Do I show my work to the world? Clearly, because I'm on FlossTube. I post on Facebook in the groups, Instagram sometimes. So definitely I show my work. But if it's like show your work like from the back, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Lately it's been getting neater and neater, but at the same point, who needs to see the back? Just like everybody says, unless you're in a fair where they're gonna like judge you on how your stitches go or whatever. No, I'm not, I don't care. Whatever. Who do you stitch for? I have a gift currently. I have something getting stitched for my mom, and I have something getting stitched for my dad. Past that, I've stitched for other people in the past, yes. Mostly out of those 66 things, maybe 4. No, those are the 2. 3 things. 3 things are for somebody else. So mostly everything is for me. Just what I like. So, now saying that, gifts, if they're on time or if they're late, chances are they're going to be late. That prayer for St. Francis was supposed to be for my dad for like last October, I think. For his birthday last October. That didn't happen. And the memorabilia that I keep talking about was supposed to be for my mom, like 3 or 4, I don't know how long, for a Mother's Day gift. I gave the pattern to her for a Mother's Day gift and said that I'd finish it by her birthday, which is in October. So I would have, 6 months? From May to October to try and finish this ginormous, haven't done one before, memorabilia. That didn't happen. Strangest place to stitch. Not really. I stitch in my bed. I stitch on the couch. I haven't really ever stitched anywhere else. They're not normal place to stitch has been on the plane, but that only lasted for a couple stitches because I couldn't focus long enough. Where would I like to stitch on the earth? If weather wasn't a factor, probably on a beach, overlooking the ocean. It's hard to say what I would stitch on for one whole year, all on its own. The only thing I could think of is a Haid. If I was really, really into a Haid right now, because it would take me the full year of every day of stitching to do that. Most amount of whips. So I have 38 or 36 that I have on the wheel right now that I've put a stitch into. The rest are all wants, like new starts essentially. So the oldest active whip, it's not really a whip, it's just on the wheel. Yeah, I put it on the wheel. Is this one. I think I might restart it only because of the fabric, and but it would be neat to see if I could finish it. Like, I'm looking at this now, I missed a few crosses, like some of them are only half crosses, but for my first piece, like, it's not, like, can you see? Like, it doesn't look horrible compared to, not saying everybody's piece looks like this, but I've seen some people stitch like pieces, and anyway, not naming any names because I have nobody in particular, but usually it's not. I'm pretty proud of that, actually. So, how many charts or kits? So I would say I have about 30 to 35 charts and kits. Which designer do you not get? I'm not going to say not a designer. I'm going to say a style. I don't really understand Quakers, even though I have one. I and it was that was an impulse buy. That was like a ooh shiny kind of thing. But I don't understand Quakers. I don't know if it's just because of the spacing or because of what it is. But Quakers. I haven't found a designer that I absolutely hate. Rarely. There are almost no designers that I'm like, eesh. Like, I don't understand their view. Like, no, it's not me. No. Which designers, can you not live without? Lizzie Kate, Doreen Jones. I really like Silver Creek samplers as well. Which two things would you not be able to live without if you had to be on an island? Choices are chocolate, coffee, Mr. Darcy, and stitching. When I originally said this, it was stitching, of course, and chocolate. But then I was thinking about it. What if you're able to get a mocha? So like the chocolate and the coffee. That's what I would do. And does your spouse know how much you spent on supplies? Lately he has, because I haven't spent anything. The couple of times that we've gone to the LNS, I've walked out with high double-digit amounts because I did buy the pattern plus the fabric plus the threads. But in the past, I'm usually a pretty okay spender when it comes to supplies. I don't really spend a lot. Like, I acquire things seldom and far and few between. So it's not as if I go to the store and spend like hundreds upon hundreds of dollars of patterns that I know that I'm never going to get to. In that way, I'm more of a realistic stitcher that, yes, I do have a lot of things, but at least I'm trying to touch on every single project that I have. Because otherwise, what if somebody else would like that? Like, what if somebody else would need that in the world and you're just keeping it for yourself and you don't have, you don't want to give it away? That's not who I am at all. So I'm going to sign off here because I'm at the 32-minute mark and it's going to cut me off soon anyway. So I've been trying to think of a tagline. I don't really know what to say, but it's currently 7:54 on Tuesday, October 23rd, and I will talk to everybody later. I'll talk to everybody later. Have a good night, everybody. Adios.